Hello everyone, myself Arpita Patil, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology from Srimati Indira Gandhi Government First Grade Women's College, Sagara. In today's video, I am going to explain about the remaining part of the animal architecture. I have already uploaded the first part of the animal architecture. In this, you are going to study about first extra embryonic membranes. These membranes develop from the germ layer, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, but are not part of the embryo. They are because they are lost at birth. They lie outside of the embryo and they provide protection and nourishment to the developing embryo. There are four extra embryonic membranes: chorion, amnion, allantois and yolk sac. Chorion is an outermost extra-embryonic membrane of reptiles, birds, and mammals. It surrounds the whole embryonic system of embryo. In placental mammals, it contributes to the structure of placenta. Next membrane is amnion. It is an inner fluid-filled sac composed of a thin double membrane surrounds the embryo. Developing embryo floats in it. It protects the embryo from mechanical shocks. Allantois. It functions as an embryonic urinary bladder because it stores nitrogenous waste, hence it is called as urinary bladder of the embryo. Yolk sac. It encloses the yolk. Yolk is rich in protein. It provides nourishment to the developing embryo. Next, we are going to study about the patterns of organization. There are four ways of animal organization. First one is symmetry. Basically, there are three types of symmetry: asymmetry, radial, and bilateral symmetry. There is one more type, that is spherical symmetry. Next one is tissue organization, that is diploblastic and triploblastic. Next one, body cavity development, that is acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, and coelomate. Embryological development, that is protostome and deuterostome. In last video, you have already studied about tissue organization, body cavity development and embryological development. Today you are going to study about the symmetry. First one is in symmetry, first type is asymmetry, or here in asymmetry, arrangement of body parts without a central axis or point. Examples for such animals are sponges or some cnidarians. Here, they don't possess any complex sensory organs or locomotory functions are absent. Spherical symmetry. In spherical symmetry, the shape of the body is spherical and lack any axis. Body of the animal is spherical and it lacks any kind of axis. The body can be divided into two equal or identical halves in any plane that runs to the organism's center. Such type of symmetry is called as spherical symmetry. In asymmetrical and spherical symmetry, the polarity does not exist. There is no polarity at all. And spherical symmetry is seen in radiolarian protozoa. Third type is radial symmetry. Arrangement of body parts in such a way that a single plane passing through the oral aboral axis divides the animal into mirror images. For example, sea anemones and starfishes. Here in this diagram, you find radial symmetry. The example of animal is here I have taken the sea anemone. The part of a radial animal such as a sea anemone radiate from the center. Any imaginary slice through the central axis divides the animal into two mirror images or two equal halves. This is an example for radial symmetry. Next type is bilateral symmetry. Arrangement of body parts such that a single plane passing through the longitudinal axis divides the animal into right and left mirror images. Example, vertebrates. In this image, you are going to study about the bilateral symmetry. A bilateral animal such as lobster. One more example is human beings. Has a left side and right side. Only one imaginary cut that divides the animal into mirror images or halves. You can see when we cut the animal in a longitudinal axis, it divides the animal into two equal halves, right and left halves. Both are mirror images. There is only one imaginary plane that divides the animal into two mirror images or halves. Next, we are going to study about the cephalization. Cephalo means head. For distinct head to analyze the environment as they move through it. In animals there is a formation of distinct head to analyze the surrounding environment as they move through it. Cephalization is an evolutionary trend in which over many generations the mouth or feeding organs, sense organs and nervous system become concentrated at the front end of an animal, producing a head region or cephalic region. This is associated with movement and bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is always associated with the cephalization, such that the animal has a definite head end. Next, we are going to study about some directional terms. First one is anterior and posterior. Anterior refers to being towards the front or nearer the forward or front end, nearer the head of an animal is called as anterior portion. Posterior refers to being towards the back. Nearer the back end or caudal end of the body is called as posterior end or portion. Next terms are dorsal and ventral. Dorsal refers to the upper back region. Ventral refers to the bottom region relating to the underside. In this image, you can see anterior end, that is the head region or cephalic region. That part is called as anterior region. The caudal region or tail region is called as posterior region. And here you are also going to know, you can see the dorsal surface and ventral surface. Next terms are superior and inferior. Superior refers to a being above. Inferior refers to being below. Any structure which is present above are called as superior structures. Inferior structures, if they are present below, they are called as inferior structures. Next terms are proximal and distal. Proximal refers to being closer to a point of attachment or the trunk. Proximal means nothing but the closer to point of attachment. Distal refers to being farther away from a point of attachment or the trunk, means away from the point of attachment. Next terms are medial and lateral. Medial refers to being closer to a vertical midline. It refers to the vertical midline of the body, that is called as medial. Lateral refers to being closer to the sides with relation to the midline. The side part with relation to the midline is called as lateral. In this image, you are going to study about body planes or sections. Body sectioning is done in three ways. When the body can be sectioned in three different planes, each one gives a different perspective. There are three types of body sectioning. First one is sagittal section. In first image, you can see the sagittal section, and the plane of cutting, vertical plane that pass through the body is called as sagittal plane or median plane. Lengthwise or vertical cut that divides the body into right and left halves is called as sagittal section. Second one is transverse section. Horizontal cut. It is a horizontal cut that divides the body into superior portion and inferior portion, uppermost portion and lowermost portion. That type of sectioning is called as transverse section. It is also called as horizontal plane or transverse plane, and sectioning is called as transverse section. Last one is coronal section. It is also called as frontal plane. Vertical cut. It is a vertical cut that divides the body into anterior and posterior portion, and this is called as coronal section or coronal plane. This plane is also called as frontal plane. This completes the basic animal architecture. In coming videos, I am going to upload the videos on immunology and genetics. Thank you.